Greetings, Earthlings, Zube. I don't even know really what I want to say. I just want to make a video. How are you? Like, how are you? Things are weird. There's a lot going on. Um, I've talked to quite a few people today, and it's like things are hard, or I guess it kind of depends on the level of acceptance that people are at. Personally, I feel really confused. And I'm okay here, really confused is somewhere I've gotten accustomed to being. Um, it's sort of my, you know, um, that's where I'm at quite often. But yeah, it like energetically, it just feels really. I'm seeing like a cogwheel. Like a wheel or whatever that goes something like that, and it's like moving like really slow, it's like grinding, um but it's moving, and there's just debris that kind of needs to fall away or get cleared out, um before it can move more easily, and I'm just in that, like, forging ahead, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's all okay. It's all going to be okay. It's okay if, you're not feeling okay either. I had this weird thing, and I keep thinking about it, so whatever, I'm going to share it. But I was traveling, if you know me. Um, I went back to Jersey to see family, stay with my sister, and help her 4 kids with school, which is online in Jersey. She's a teacher, and she had to go to school. So anyway, I was there for 5 or so weeks, and that was wonderful. And then I went to see my dad in North Carolina, and that was awesome. And um, I haven't lived in Jersey for 20 years, and so that was the longest I really got to spend with my family. But anyway, whatever. So I flew home, and I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time, and drove to the airport in Raleigh, which was like an hour away, and then flew into Tennessee, and then I had a layover for like an hour, and then I flew from Tennessee to Denver, and then from Denver, get my luggage, and it was a really long trip, and I came home with an extra suitcase, like an extra checked bag, and I just get anxious when I travel, especially when there are like lots of moving parts. And I had left my car at a friend's house for the whole time that I was gone. Um, and so I knew when I got to the airport, I had to get these 2 luggages, and then I was going to have to take an Uber. And I don't use Uber that often, so I have a cheesy old phone, and it always runs out of space. And so I had to download the Uber app and get the Uber driver. And then I was standing there, and it said like that the driver was right there, and I'm like looking, and then I finally realized that the driver was literally like right over there, and so I walked back over, and I waved, and you know, and it was her, and so the lady, she got out, and she was like, um, "Oh, you should have just, you should have flagged me down or whatever, and I would have come and got you instead of you having to walk back over here or what." And I was just frazzled. I was tired. I'd been traveling all day, and I still had to take the Uber to go get my car to do an hour and a half drive to even still get home. And so when when we got in the car, she said to me, and it was really sweet. Like, I mean, I know she was trying to be sweet, but she was like, you need to remember that you're a goddess. And, and it's funny because, with shadow work and this whatever spiritual journey, whenever something bothers me, I've gotten really quick at going like, oh, because the second she said it, you need to know that you're a goddess. And so in my head, I was like, fuck you, think I don't think I'm a goddess? Um, I guess I wasn't being like regal or commanding or whatever because I was fucking tired and I had a bunch of shit and I don't usually use Uber. It was just funny. And so the second, like, I heard my ego voice in my head go, I'm a fucking goddess. Anyway, I, I kind of had my observer go, oh, what's that about? Let's look inside you for where you're not feeling that. Why are you so defensive? Um, and it was because I was a little out of alignment. And the funny thing is, like, can I be a frazzled goddess, who's been traveling for like 9 hours on planes and cars and still has like an hour and a half or more, 2 hours, half an hour Uber to my car and then an hour and a half. So anyway, with a bunch of luggage and a big 6 week adventure, it was funny. I mean, it was funny, and we ended up having a super cool conversation. She was a really cool lady, and she was a fire sign, and I'm a water sign, and but then we like connected in a way, and she was like, well, guess she's like, I should have made you guess my sign. Um, and she didn't, but then we started talking about rising signs and da, da, da. She told me her rising sign and she was like, no, wait, guess my moon. And I guessed her moon and her moon was a Cancer because I could tell I was connecting her with her on like a really emotional level, which is funny. I'm a Cancer. And so I was like, there's water in there but at first, it just came off to me as a little bit like abrasive. Not really. Superior, maybe. Who knows? But like, no human interaction is perfect, right? And it all worked out wonderfully. Um, I have this thing sometimes where I tend to in the past, when I was operating out of victim mode, I would always seek out other people's advice and ask this person what I should do and this person what I should do and I don't really ask anybody for advice anymore, because it just gets too confusing. And usually, even when I was in victim mode and asking for advice, I just did what I wanted to do. It was just bringing a bunch of like energy and people's thoughts into my shit, and confusing it and making it murky. And now, I might go to like one person I trust or two people I trust um and ask like there's just a different way sometimes that there are people I trust to not tell me what to do. I'm not ever looking for anybody to tell me what to do. But I've run into a lot of people who like to tell me what to do. It's so weird. Or they like to like teach me about stuff. And there have been times where I've had somebody like, oh, well, there's this thing I'm doing. And it even happens with people who have, who are into the occult and stuff like that, and into like some new thing. And there was one time where this person was going on and they're like, I'm super into this. And it was something I was into. And I could not get a word in edgewise and be like, yeah, I've been into that for a while. And but they wouldn't stop and let me interject. And so finally I just kind of sat back and I was like, well, okay, why don't you tell me all about it? And then when it was over, when they were done, they were like, "So you should really check that out." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, like I've been watching videos about that for like a year and a half." Um, it wasn't cocky. I wasn't. I don't know. I'm really. I'm generally good, I think, at not judging. Everybody is where they are, and it doesn't hurt me to listen to somebody who's animated and excited about something. Um, and there is a part of me that likes to explore. I think a lot of times because I do feel insecure about what I know, and it stems from being a college dropout and all that stuff. I just never felt like I was smart enough, or or qualified, or anything like that. Goes back to the unworthiness piece, but and so I think I pulled the experience to myself of standing in my own power. I just looked down at the little clock thing and it said 11:11. But anyways, um, I was standing in my own power because I just need practice with it. So I draw people into my experience who tell me who maybe feel the part of me that is not empowered or is disempowered or is still exploring that aspect of my shadow. And they just like to come in and tell me what to do. I don't know. It's just fun. It's interesting to be self-reflective, because everything's about me and everything that everybody else is doing is about them, and most people don't mean any harm by it. Like I could have got bitter at this lady and sat in the car for the whole half hour and been like, I'm a fucking goddess. Like this bitch doesn't even know. I could have. And then I would have missed out on a really cool experience where she told me about her life and her daughter and I talked about astrology and anyway, people are just people. But go like with everything where it is and so many things seem up in the air and it can be a really frustrating time. Sometimes it's like, well, it just is what it is and that's what it is. And I just wanted to say hi to you. And you know what? Like, you're not. If you're frazzled, if you're a frazzled traveler right now, I want you to know that you are still a god or goddess. That's what I wanted to say. It's okay if you're dragging your luggage and like, you're not quite sure how you're going to get from here to there. You might not even be sure where you're going or which I wasn't. I was like, it was this huge apartment complex and I was all stressed out about where she was moving my car around for me so that it wouldn't be not started for too long or in the same spot. So the apartment people, anyway, and so I'm like spinning through, like, oh my God, we got to get there and we got to find my car and we got to, and like, you should know that you're a goddess. I'm like, I'm a fucking goddess. I know. I love you. And I think that's all I have to say. Peace and namaste.